Hi everyone, welcome to Writer's Corner. I'm Rudrani, and in today's video I'd like to share with you one of my short stories. It's actually a translation of a Telugu story written by my dad, Dr Vivekanandamurty Kadiyala. The original title of this story is called Nenu Choosina Nakshitram, and it was first published in the Deepavali special issue of the Andhra Jyoti Weekly in 1969. I enjoyed listening to this story and I took his permission to translate it into English. Though Telugu is my native tongue, it's not my first language, and I've tried to translate it as closely as possible, although certain idioms and nuances may not be exact, but it seems close enough. And the story in English is titled The Star I Saw, and I hope you enjoy it. So here we go. The Star I Saw. I had suddenly lost the interest to write stories, and I've stopped writing of late. And there is a story behind this. I always felt that good stories had to be well known far and wide. In the days when I used to write extensively, I once went all the way to Kanchi. I wondered if I could find my stories being read there. Eager to know, I searched avidly for them, but to no avail. Not one of my stories in sight. I felt disappointed. I had travelled far and wide, but my stories had not. I felt saddened, even worried. Had I not written them well? With this thought in mind, I had lost the urge to write. To while away my time, I now began a new hobby of watching films. I watched a numerous amount until I had had my fill. Then, one day, a thought crossed my mind. What if I were to be on the silver screen? How nice it would be for everyone to see me, for fans to adore me. I immediately decided to give up being a writer and to become an actor. I quickly packed my things and took the next available train to Madras. Madras was a busy and bustling city. Feeling excited and carrying new dreams of new life, I headed to Pondi Bazaar and checked into Brindavan Lodge. Feeling tired from the long train journey, I fell asleep for most of the day, even dreaming in my slumber. Evening approached. Locking my room door, I made my way into the city centre. With trees occupying both sides of the roads like King Ashoka's kingdom, Pondi Bazaar looked magnificent. Under the trees stood some side artists conversing in Telugu with one another. Wanting to have some coffee, I went to VK Cafe. Sitting alone at a table, I sipped my beverage. And just as I was about to finish drinking, a man walked to my table and sat in the chair opposite me. "Have you come for an acting job?" he asked, speaking in pure Telugu. He had made an accurate diagnosis on the spot. "Coffee," he called to the waiter. "Sorry, who are you?" I asked. "Oh, I'm known as Velumani. I have 25 years of acting experience. Before coming here, I was Venkatanarsaya. When I first came here, I decided to change my name to better suit this place. Ask anyone. Even the tree branches will tell you about me." His coffee arrived. "Get one more," he ordered the waiter. I downed a second cup. "Let's go for a walk," he suggested, putting his empty cup down. He placed the bill in my hand and rose from his seat. After I paid, I followed him out of the cafe. I looked at him for a moment. He came across as a veteran actor, yet I had not seen him in any film. He then lit a cigarette and handed me one too. "Shall we go to the beach?" he asked. Before I could answer, he called out, "Taxi!" We arrived at the beach, and as we alighted the taxi, Velumani checked the meter reading and told me how much to pay. Once again I paid. As we walked on the sandy beach, Velumani began to speak. I began my journey in acting 25 years ago. I've done so many variety of roles. I've been asked so many times by the press, what's your favourite role? Now, that's like asking a mother who her favourite child is. How can a mother answer that? Similarly, I would struggle to answer their question. Oh, let's get some fried chickpeas. We bought some. Forgive me, but I don't recall any of the roles you've played, I said. Velumani, loudly munching his snack, said, Ah, there you go. That's what acting is about. When an actor plays his part well, the viewer won't remember the actor, but only the character. I lived and breathed my characters. So my characters remained close to the viewers' hearts, and I grew distant. Please tell me about your roles, I asked. Yes, of course. I recently acted in Kati, a folklore. I was a royal guard, and I stopped the queen from stepping out by holding out my sword to her. Did you see it? In the film Merathippina Veerudu, I was the main soldier leading the battle, and I shouted, Come on, let's go. In the mythological film Hidimbi, I did a dual role, one of a Rakshasa and the other of a Rishi. They were very unique roles, but I studied them well and did justice to them. By doing justice, I mean one has to understand the role. For example, for the Rakshasa, if he has to trouble a Rishi, one has to think and decide if he should pull the Rishi's beard or hair first. Similarly, how to hold a sword to a king at the correct angle so as not to hurt him. I have to study all these things. I acted in many films in various parts, paperboy, postman, policeman. I even did parts as a club dancer and a street dancer. I would be in the front. Of course, back then I only got one frame, but I still put my all into that role. Velumani did not let me speak a word. In fact, before I got into acting, he continued, I was a dubbing artist. Once I did dubbing for a character in a film. I watched that film after in the theatre. In one scene, even after the hero had given the heroine the drinking vessel, she asks him, Darling, please pass me the vessel. There was no lip sync. The words did not match the acting. I lost all respect for dubbing and decided never to do dubbing work again. We bought ourselves some pakoras. While eating, Velumani continued talking. In fact, you might be wondering how I first got into this field. I actually started off as a producer. I used all my money and took a film, a family drama called Avatalavidi. I was also the director of the film and the hero. The only film I was a hero in. Do you know what the story is? Well, the heroine wants to meet the hero who lives on the other street. But while going there, she comes across so many things. Tragedies, mishaps, sad events, happy events, beggars, etc. I forced a partial strained smile as if I had just swallowed a bitter pill. I thought of Velumani. The one I saw today seemed like a fake version of the Velumani I had met the day before. So how is it? Asked Reddy. Very heartbreaking, I replied. You're too soft, said Reddy. Did you think the gorilla would kill the hero? No, the gorilla will die at the hands of the hero. I know, I saw. Interestingly, that's not a gorilla, he said. I know, it's Velumani. Not Velumani, not Venkatasubaya. That's Sita Mahalakshmi, a beautiful, sexy dancer. In the film, once the gorilla dies, its spell is broken and it turns into a beautiful damsel, an apsara. and Sita Mahalakshmi, as an Apsara, does this beautiful dance. The film openings are excellent whenever she's in the film. I spent a long while talking to Reddy. When he asked me if I had come there on work, I told him that I just wanted to spend a few days sightseeing in Madras. That evening, Reddy got me to check out of the lodge and took me to his home. After abruptly leaving the studio, I did not meet Velmani again. Other than thinking about Velmani and feeling pity for him, I did not feel like meeting him again. And I did not think he made any attempts to meet me either. After seeing Velmani, I was not so keen on acting anymore. I did some sightseeing for the next 4 days. The day after that, I went with Reddy and sat with him at a publicity event. There, suddenly, Velmani appeared. He approached us timidly like a cat. He humbly greeted Reddy. "Hello, sir." Reddy, without even looking up at Velmani and stubbing his cigarette out in the ashtray, said, "Yeah, what is it?" I looked at Velmani, who in turn looked at me and smiled embarrassedly. Nothing, sir, he mumbled. "What is it? The film is done now. You've taken what you're owed," said Reddy. "That's not it, sir. At least this time, please put my name in the title, sir," requested Velmani. Reddy burst into laughter. "Oh, that, yeah, okay, we'll see. Go." Wincing, a humiliated Velmani stepped back and began to slowly walk away. Reddy turned to me, as if telling me to join in the laughter. Reluctantly, I forced a slight laugh. The next day, I was sitting in Reddy's office while he stepped out for a while. On his table, I saw the title sheets for the film, Manchi Pirugulu. The names of the producer and directors had not yet been added. I searched for the casting list, but I could not find Velmani's name anywhere. I felt sorry for him again. Reddy had not returned yet. I found an easy chair lying in a corner, and I sat back uneasily in it and closed my eyes. After a while, I opened my eyes and saw the back of Velmani as he was walking out. Reddy had still not returned. I glanced at the title sheets on the table. Something made me want to check them again. As I looked through them, under the heading of supporting artists was scribbled Gorilla Velmani. The poor penmanship spoilt the sheet, making it look ugly. Out of the whole film, I thought the titles would be the best thing. But now I had lost that hope too. But for some reason, my heart that pitied Velmani now felt consoled. Before leaving Madras, I saw the preview of the film Manchi Pirugulu. Velmani's name was not in the titles. It must have been edited. Velmani's attempts had been in vain. His hopes and dreams of name and fame had been cut short. For someone who had done numerous roles, he had not even appeared as a human being in this film. He looked just like a gorilla. He died an animal. But for me, it was Velmani who died. In the end, viewers might not even have thought Velmani was a man dressed as a gorilla, but as a circus animal. A full Telugu cinema. Eventually, she reaches the hero's house. The film ends there. But it's a tragic end. The hero is not at home. His door is locked and he's gone out somewhere. The film did well up to the interval in the main theatres. With that, I decided to become an actor instead. I guess it was destined for me to reach stardom. We finished eating our pakoras. It grew dark and night had set in. "Come, let's go back," said Velmani. We turned round and began to walk back when Velmani spoke again. "By the way, I haven't asked anything about you. Have you brought any recommendation letters or references with you?" No, I replied. It doesn't matter. I'm here. As a senior artist, it's my job to help junior artists. You have nice features. You will have a nice future. That's my opinion. Anyway, I think you should shadow me for a while during film shootings. You can see how things work and learn. Tomorrow at Mohini's studio, I have a film shoot. I'm doing a really fascinating role and it's one I've not done before. I'll take you with me and you can watch. I agreed and Velumani told me to meet him at VK Cafe at 10 o'clock the next morning. I bid him goodbye and by the time I returned to my room it was very late in the night. I lay in bed and rather than thinking of my acting roles, I began to think of my acquaintance with Velumani until my eyes grew heavy and I drifted off to sleep. The next morning, as planned, I went to Mohini's studio with Velumani. When we arrived there, he told me to wait in the studio while he went to get his makeup done, ready for filming. As I was walking towards the studio floor, I unexpectedly saw my childhood friend Yadav Reddy. He was apparently in charge of publicity for films and he was also one of the directors for Velumani's current film. While talking, we both headed to the studio floor together. The building was perhaps an old disused rice mill. As soon as we entered the studio, I felt as if I had stepped into a furnace. The atmosphere was sweltering and I began to feel hot and sweaty. Inside, the setting was that of a jungle. Stones and rubble made from paper and card appeared real and heavy to the eye. Chopped tree branches with withered leaves stood wearily like dejected directors of failed films. There were also several plastic flowers and twigs dispersed all over the set. People on the set were busy hurrying around and making adjustments to the lights and cameras. This particular movie was called Manchipirugulu. Soon the hero, dressed as a prince, arrived onto the set smoking a cigarette. I had seen him in many films and could recognize him immediately. Eventually, there were the hero, the stunt masters, and a gorilla standing in front of the cameras. The stunt masters began fighting and wrestling, trying to analyze and enact the scene. The sun had now fully risen and the daytime heat had set in. Inside the studio, the temperature became unbearable. The only 2 fans present were on full speed, yet their strength was insufficient to combat the warmth. The gorilla, unable to bear the heat and suffocation, removed its head with both its paws. I was shocked. I saw Velumani's head. So this was the role he was telling me about yesterday, I thought. Gasping for breath, Velumani tried to wipe the beads of sweat dripping down his face. As he did so, the stunt master prodded him in the stomach and snapped, Put your mask back on." With only half the necessary air for breathing, Velumani did as he was told and slid the gorilla head back on. Seeing Velumani dressed as a gorilla, it was difficult to imagine that it was actually him, that it was a human being inside. He looked just like a gorilla. Just then, the stunt master shouted, "Shot ready, lights on." The lights were focused on the hero and the gorilla. Like a romantic scene in a Telugu film, the gorilla slowly approached the hero from behind and hugged him. The hero, unalarmed, elbowed the gorilla in the gut. With that blow, Velumani toppled and fell back onto the ground. "Cut!" yelled the director. Velumani grabbed his stomach in pain, and as he was trying to get up, the stunt master snapped at him. "Come on, get up." Then the hero approached Velumani and with a big smile said, "Did the blow hurt you badly, brother?" Saying this, he pulled Velumani up with one hand. No longer able to tolerate the suffocation, Velmani immediately removed his mask. Seeing the pain on his sweaty face saddened me. 1 long hour had burned away. They kept taking the same shot again and again. I could not bear to witness Velmani's plight any longer. I told Yadav Reddy, let's get out of here. Oh, coffee is here, he said. Let's drink it first and then go. I could not stomach the coffee. It somehow looked fake. It reminded me of Velmani's sweat. Despite not yet entering the field of acting, I enacted drinking the coffee pretty well. Before leaving the studio floor, I turned to Velmani just once. With his mask in one hand, he looked at me forlorn and waved wearily with his other hand. But Velmani still contributed to the success of the film. Sad though, like the labourers who built the Taj Mahal, in the galaxy of stars, Velmani remains an unknown star. Strange, I went to Madras wanting to be an actor, but thanks to Velmani, I have returned home and decided not to not write. I do not need to think of going to Kanchi again. The end. Thank you for watching and listening. I hope you enjoyed that. And please click like, share and subscribe. And I hope to see you again with some more stories to share with you. Thank you. Bye.